Arts Awards is a unique qualification where young people can build a whole programme around what interests them.
I chose to do Gold Arts Award because I'd be crazy to pass up an opportunity like that as a musician. There's a lot of stuff that will help me in my industry that I want to go into. I've met various industry contacts which will be fantastic for me. I've learned and I've also led music events. So I think it will be crazy for me to pass up an opportunity where I'm doing things that I love to do and also learning at the same time.
It's got 2 units. The first unit is about their arts practice, creating a new piece of work, developing their skills, going to see work that inspires them and making those contacts in the creative industries.
You have to pick like what you're good at or whatever you want to do for the Arts Award, and then you have to, for example in my case I'm doing fashion, so I've picked like what I want to do, and at the end you have to do like a final piece. For example, I'm making a garment for a fashion show.
Being a broadcast student, I normally make films, music videos, things like that. So I wanted to try something really different and I wanted to do visual arts, so I chose to do graffiti.
The first part, which I found was mainly for me, exploring myself as a poet and seeing where I can take and the next steps I could go with in the spoken word industry.
What I'm doing from Arts Award is dance, but I'm using contemporary and the weird side of contemporary.
I've focused on Shakespeare and creating a new kind of modern take on him and his work.
I find home through the voice of Bob Marley, as he tells me to not worry about a thing. And how can he be wrong when he's the king? The king of groove, the king of smooth, jam to a jam. His music is a part of me, it's a part of who I am, helps me complete my plan, achieve what I can, what I want, what I will. For me, it was just finding how I can take influences, for example, like from jazz, and then putting that into my poetry as well, and making it work. So I was finding what I can do with that. So I guess I would attend lots of spoken word, like open mic events, and I would go there and I would sit and listen, and just see how different they are to me, or how similar they are to myself.
To get inspiration, mainly, so that for me that would be designers and stuff. In like pieces, garments that I've seen before, go get fabric swatches from Rag Market or somewhere like that. I went to V&A in London and looked in the fashion section and like all the fashion through history, took some images of that and put it in my Arts Award book.
I've gained inspiration by going to some dance shows. I went to see Tom Dell's dance performance at the Hippodrome, which really inspired me to create a really fast motion dance piece.
Well, I've been to see quite a few shows lately since starting Arts Award. I've been to the RSC a few times and I was really inspired by like King John and Merry Wives of Windsor, but I also thought I'd see other kinds of Shakespeare. So I watched A Midsummer Night's Tale at the Blue Orange Theatre in Birmingham, and I also watched Forests at the Birmingham Rep.
Also in Unit 1, they have to do volunteering, getting involved, putting some hands on, working with new companies.
I'm volunteering to work with Fierce Festival, which is a live art festival, and I'm reviewing things for them. I'm working with audio and podcast. I'm just immersing myself in loads of different art forms that I wouldn't have really known about otherwise.
I worked with the Birmingham Opera Company, but that was run by Graham Vick, the world-renowned opera, director, and that was an amazing opportunity. I think I worked with them for 2 months, and I was volunteering. Other things as well, we ran an event here at Boa for the St. Basil's charity, and all profit made went straight to that charity. I guess it's just nice when you volunteer and you're doing it for the right cause as well. And I grow as a person, so it's a win-win.
One of the very important skills that they pick up from doing Arts Award Gold is learning how to network with a whole range of different people, particularly from people from different creative industries, but also people from the community, other young people as well as adults. This is a really critical skill for their future, whatever jobs they go in.
I think it's definitely helped with networking. For instance, I got the opportunity to go to Birmingham Opera Company volunteer, and there I met a mass range of people from like our age to like 70, and lots of them were involved in the arts as well as people that had nothing to do with the arts, and they we networked with them, and some of them were doing some work on a film at that time, so I managed to get in to be an extra on one of their films.
I went to the dance exchange to meet someone, and they've arranged a meeting with me to talk to a dancer who does dance lessons there. So I've had an interview and I've been able to find out about his dance career and how it's progressed from how he started off to where he is now.
Throughout the whole 6-month process that I was working with the Future Poets Festival, I met other professional poets as well, like Musa Okawanga, Polar Bear, Jodie Ann Bickley.
I'm actually speaking at the moment with a guy who is toured with Block Party, which is really exciting, and hoping to interview him, find out more about what excites him, what inspires him in the industry.
I have performed with Matthew Bourne's New Adventures group. We got to all meet the cast and the crew. It was a really good opportunity, and we all mixed and, you know, got on Facebook, so it's quite cool.
There's a part in it called The Debate, which is where young people can actually get political, finding an issue that is important to them, sharing that view, seeing what others think.
For my Get Political debate, I debated whether the introduction of technology to music still requires a skill when creating the music, because it's a very common myth nowadays that the computer does everything for you, that there's a button you press and there's a perfect song. But basically I was arguing that that's not the case, and I enjoyed working on it. I mean, I talked to many different people, got many different viewpoints. We had a public audience come in. I stood up there with a big projector with my slides on. I spoke, and then at the end I also asked the audience to write any feedback that they thought of the debate and get it back to me at the end, and we had some great feedback.
For my debate, I chose to do a live presentation to around 30 people from the creative industry. In the background of this presentation, I had a PowerPoint running showing images of graffiti art, local and some well-known.
For my debate, I decided to choose something that kind of means something to me instead of doing just a random issue. And I chose to do female sizes in the media, only because to people it may not seem like an issue, but when it's in fashion it is an issue. And I decided to reflect on the size 0 issue and how that affects young people and how the media portrays a certain image to be the right image. I decided to do a video from it because I didn't want to stand and talk myself, so I decided to do a video on it, taking different videos of opinions and putting it into one.
We went to the Cultural Arts Summit and we looked into the funding cuts on the arts, and we got to sit in on like debates about how they're cutting the money and why, and we gave like a voice for our generation. It was really interesting because before the summit I wasn't really that aware of how the cuts would affect us, because it was just all politics and I wasn't really involved in that, but it made me realise that later on down the line I'll realise how we could have had these opportunities, but now they've been taken away. Like, we can't go to certain groups for free anymore, and it's not good that the cuts are happening, and it made us feel like determined that we want to do something different about it. So we put our voice forward and made them realise that we still need the arts and the arts are important.
Unit 2 is quite different. It's actually about creating a project where they can be a leader. So working with others, doing the risk assessments, the planning, working the budget, the marketing, and actually putting on quite a special event that they're responsible for.
For Unit 2, we had to pick an event that we wanted to do, and my one was the launch of the Eastside City Park, just next to Birmingham Mist Academy, Millennium Point. And I was in charge of, we each had to take a role, and I was in charge of the art section. So I got people, I had a store to look after basically, and I got people to sell things there. I planned part of the event, I went to meetings, I did risk assessments as well. It was organised with BCU, Think Tank, and quite a few others. It was a good event and quite a lot of people came.
The biggest challenge for me was the timescale we had to do it in. We had a lot to do, risk assessments, going to various different meetings, organising, programming, and we had a very short timescale to get all of that done. But we had to do it. There was no cancelling. You couldn't bypass it or move it to another date. So it was very stressful getting all that done, but it had to be done and we did it.
As it was around Christmas time, we did a festive fringe and we organised like an event on a Saturday at Boa where children could come in and like decorate trees and have like Christmas cakes and stuff. And for that we had to organise lots of meetings, think about health and safety, advertisement, how we'd get the news out there that there was something going on. I really enjoyed like actually working with the children and seeing all that work we'd put in coming into light and how the little children enjoyed it, as well as like the parents enjoyed seeing their kids enjoy it, and it was just like a really nice atmosphere and really worth it.
For me, there are many benefits. I've met some fantastic industry professionals who I feel very privileged to be in contact with and keep on being in contact with, and I'm sure I'll be in contact with them after Arts Award finishes. I've managed to even get some work experience in London at the Roundhouse, doing event management, which was I got that through Arts Award when I started doing that.
I'm learning that I don't need a structure to get involved with the industry. I can just push myself and speak to people.
I think that the benefits for me of doing this Arts Award is to show that I'm not just a visual art and design person. I can show I can do a variety of art forms.
I think Arts Awards helped me learn how to organise things by myself and not always rely on other people or other organisations. I can go out there and find myself work or network with people and tell them about me.
Top tips to anybody that wants to do their Arts Award. I would say anything that comes into your mind, write it down straight away because it can all be used as evidence. Be as creative as you want, come up with an idea that you wouldn't normally do, try something different.
I would say do as much research as you can, go out there, get like as much photos to do with your chosen pathway as you can, make sure you're dedicated and enjoy it, just enjoy it.
Just get out there, go and speak to people, push yourself, learn about your art form and just know no boundaries.
Be ready for an element of independence. It's something that won't be fed to you. It's something you're going to have to go out yourself, research, create an argument, lead something, and it's very independent, but it also creates fantastic skills. And you'll need to think outside the box as well. There's a lot of thinking outside the box. You should try to remain dedicated and motivated because there is actually quite a lot you have to do for Arts Award. So I think what would be good for you is that anytime you're out and you think you're doing something which is quite relevant, and as artists I think that's everything we do is quite relevant to our field. I think maybe keep a diary or just pull out your phone and just to take notes really quickly.
Take any opportunity you get because you don't know what one opportunity can bring after that. Like you can meet so many people in one opportunity that you do, and then that can lead to another one and another one. Prepare to have a good time because it is a great experience doing the Gold Arts Award.
I find home through the voice of Bob Marley as he tells me to not worry about a thing. And how can he be wrong when he's the king of groove, the king of smooth, jamming to a jam. His music is a part of me, it's a part of who I am, helps me complete my plan, achieve what I can, what I want, what I will. I pray it's in God's will to succeed. Success.